Budget problems for FEMA are now putting a strain on Oklahoma nonprofits.
These agencies have spent years helping Oklahoma families recover from disasters like wildfires, tornadoes, and flooding. Newsnine's Matt McCabe investigates why the federal agencies are not getting paid what they are promised.
He joins us now in studio with what he's uncovered. Matt?
Amanda and Carl, we learned a key FEMA grant for Oklahoma has been stalled since August, and it has caused a deficit of hundreds of thousands of dollars for local charities, but it is part of a larger problem nationally.
The harsh effects of severe weather in Oklahoma lingers for years after the skies clear. That's when nonprofits like Road face their most critical need.
Disaster Case Management Grant helps us provide the services that are needed for these families to navigate through the recovery efforts.
FEMA puts up billions of dollars annually to help disaster-impacted communities. In the case of devastating storms in the spring of 2024, the federal agency promised more than $2.5 million for disaster case management assistance. Catholic Charities of Oklahoma City is one of 3 state groups that received part of that contract.
If we fulfill the full contract of the grant, it would be about $250,000 up to, but you can see that the grant was for $1.1 million. Our expenditures are $300,000, so we are already judicious about using the taxpayer dollars. We don't hire unless we have demonstrated need and valid cases.
Despite its caution, Catholic Charities and Road say the federal agency has iced them out of any conversation about when they will get reimbursed for the help they provide. Road says it is owed about $150,000 between 2 grants, and Catholic Charities is waiting on $70,000.
With a 10-year history with DCM grants through FEMA, the most we had ever waited was maybe 4 weeks upon submission of a invoice to be reimbursed. So this year has been much different than it has in the past.
Different by almost a half-year delay. There's hardly any explanation for why, other than a more scrutinous policy at the federal level for all spending.
We don't mind any of that, but we have a contract. Either help us fulfill the contract or communicate your intent, but don't just not communicate and not reimburse. That's not a good way to do business.
It makes it very difficult for us to wait when we don't know what slow means.
The lack of payment to them might be existential, and if they close, the capacity that we have in Oklahoma to respond to disasters might not recover. And so that's a tragedy that we'd like to avoid.
2 charity organizations say there are real faces of Oklahomans depending on these dollars.
We called and emailed several officials at FEMA today with no response from the agency. Catholic Charities says it can continue, but Road says no funding by the end of this month means it may be forced to stop its work. Meanwhile, at least 77 Oklahoma families are still waiting on critical disaster case management services. Carl.
All right, Matt, thank you. And FEMA warned Congress in a monthly report that its overall disaster relief fund needs more money. We have reached out to Representative Tom Cole, chair of the House Appropriations Committee.